You think women are captivated by smooth lines, clever tricks, and perfectly timed words. But the truth is, what pulls her in is not your performance, it's your clarity. You think the right compliment will make her want you, but the right compliment does something deeper than that. It reveals whether you are a man who sees value or a man begging to be valued. That's the difference. Most men talk to women like applicants in an interview for approval. They compliment her because they want something back: attention, validation, a smile, a chance, a number, a little hit to the ego that says, I still matter. And women feel that instantly. They may not say it, they may not even consciously explain it, but they feel the weight behind your words. They can feel whether your compliment comes from abundance or hunger, presence or pressure, reality or fantasy. And that is why the same sentence can sound attractive from one man and weak from another. Listen carefully. If you keep needing reminders like this, subscribe, because you do not need more entertainment. You need truth repeated until your standards rise. You need your mind sharpened. You need to hear what weak men avoid and what grounded men live by. Not because I need your subscription, because you need stronger inputs if you are serious about becoming a man whose words actually carry weight. Here's what it really means. A compliment is not powerful because it flatters her. A compliment is powerful because it communicates your perception, your standards, your emotional control, and your self-respect all at once. It tells her whether you are centered or needy, whether you observe or just react, whether you are trying to win her or simply willing to tell the truth. That's why most compliments fail. Not because women hate compliments, because women hate empty ones. You tell her she's beautiful. Fine. She has heard that 1,000 times. You tell her she's gorgeous. Fine. So has every man with shaky confidence and a phone full of unsent messages. You tell her she has pretty eyes. Fine. That compliment costs you nothing. No courage, no discernment, no depth. It is generic language from a generic state, and generic men get generic results. The misconception is simple. You think attraction grows when you praise her more. The hard truth is attraction grows when your words feel earned, specific, calm, and rooted in what actually matters. Why does this happen? Because people trust congruence. They trust alignment. If your energy says, I'm overwhelmed by you, and your words say, I just wanted to say you seem cool, she feels the split. If your energy says, I know who I am, and your words are simple and honest, she relaxes. She leans in. She gets curious. The root cause is deeper than dating. It's identity. Too many men speak from fear of losing a woman they do not even know. Read that again in your mind. They fear losing access before they have earned connection. That's called scarcity. That's called self-abandonment. That's called trying to borrow worth from a stranger. And it costs you more than a date. It costs you your posture, your voice, your timing, your standards. It costs you the ability to actually see her, because when you are desperate to be chosen, you stop observing. You stop listening. You stop discerning. You stop asking the real question, which is not, how do I make her like me? The real question is, what kind of man am I when I speak? That's the reframe. Your compliment is not bait. It is a mirror. It shows her who you are. So let's talk about the kinds of compliments that actually land. Not because they manipulate women, not because they bypass psychology like some cheap little trick, but because they come from a man who is awake, grounded, and unafraid to name what he sees. The first kind of compliment that instantly separates you from the crowd is the one that notices her energy, not just her appearance. You look her in the eye and say, you have a calm presence. It stands out. Do you understand why that works? Because you are not acting like a starving man who just discovered beauty exists. You are showing discernment. You are speaking to something deeper than surface. You are saying, I notice the effect you have on a room. I notice how you carry yourself. That is rare. And when a man notices what most men miss, he becomes memorable. The second compliment is about the way she thinks. You're sharp. You don't just say things to fill space. That lands because every attractive woman is used to being reacted to physically. Fewer are deeply recognized mentally. When you compliment her mind without sounding theatrical, you elevate the conversation. You tell her that your attraction is not stuck at the level of impulse. You tell her you are capable of respect, and respect is seductive when it comes from strength, not submission. The third compliment is about authenticity. You seem comfortable in your own skin. That's attractive. Now pay attention here. You are not praising her for performing femininity perfectly. You are acknowledging groundedness, confidence, ease, the ability to exist without begging for approval. Why does that matter? Because people are drawn to those who seem internally settled, and when you can recognize that in her, it suggests you value it in yourself too. The fourth compliment is about standards. I like that you don't seem easy to impress. Most men are afraid to say something like that because they think every compliment has to sound soft and safe. No. Sometimes the strongest compliment is one that recognizes challenge, discipline, selectiveness. It tells her that you are not trying to lower her standards to access her. You respect standards because you have your own. The fifth compliment is about how she makes people feel. You're easy to talk to. That's rare. That works because now you are naming emotional impact. You are saying the interaction has texture, safety, flow, ease. And notice what you are not doing. You are not overselling. You are not drowning her in praise. You are giving a clean observation. Strong men do that. They do not gush. They do not perform intensity they have not earned. They notice. They name. They move with control. The sixth compliment is about discipline and intention. You seem like someone who puts real thought into how you live. That compliment reaches beyond looks and beyond charm. It speaks to design, purpose, taste, order. Women do not just want to feel desired, they want to feel seen accurately. And accuracy is attractive because it feels intimate without being invasive. The seventh compliment is quiet but powerful. You have a feminine energy that doesn't need attention to be felt. That one only works if you say it with steadiness. No smirk, no sleaze, no hunger in your throat. Because what are you really saying? You are saying that her presence has gravity without noise, that she does not need to advertise herself to be noticeable. Women who value self-respect feel that. They understand it immediately. And the eighth compliment, maybe the strongest one of all, is this. You seem like the kind of woman who brings peace, not chaos. Now understand me. This is not about placing women on pedestals. This is about naming what mature men actually value. Not drama, not confusion, not stimulation, disguised as chemistry, peace, depth, emotional steadiness, loyalty of spirit. When you compliment that, you signal something important. You signal that you are no longer a boy addicted to emotional turbulence. You are a man who knows what kind of life he is building. Now, here is where most men ruin it. They hear these compliments and think the magic is in the wording. No. The magic is in the state of the man saying them. Read that truth with your chest, because if you say, you have a calm presence, but your energy is frantic, it dies. If you say, you're sharp, but you are trying to win points, it dies. If you say, you bring peace, but your life is disorder, impulse, and weak boundaries, it dies. Women do not just hear your words, they measure the man underneath them. That's why some of you keep getting confused. You say decent things, but you say them from a collapsed frame. You say them while mentally chasing, while over-explaining, while hoping, while negotiating your value in real time. And then you wonder why she smiled politely but did not feel drawn in. Because attraction is not created by compliments alone. It is created by the emotional reality behind them. So who is the man whose words actually land? He is not loud. He is not begging. He is not hyper strategic. He is not trying to hack women because he is too lazy to build himself. He is grounded. He has a life that matters to him. He has work to do, standards to keep, discipline to maintain. He knows how to enjoy a woman without emotionally kneeling before her beauty. He can appreciate without chasing, desire without dissolving, speak without overselling, walk away without bitterness. That is the man. He does not compliment every woman because he is not ruled by impulse. He does not spray praise like confetti, hoping one woman will reward him. His words are selective because his attention is selective. His attention is selective because his life has weight. And when a man with weight speaks sincerely, people feel it. Why? Because his words cost something. They come from a standard. They come from a place of inner order. He knows the difference between admiration and worship. He knows the difference between connection and fantasy. He knows the difference between being warm and being weak. He can be kind without collapsing, direct without being harsh, interested without being desperate. And women feel safe with that kind of strength. Not safe because he is passive, safe because he is solid. There is a difference. Passive men disappear into women. Solid men remain themselves in the presence of beauty. Passive men become agreeable. Solid men become clear. Passive men shapeshift to avoid rejection. Solid men tell the truth and let reality sort itself out. That's called self-respect. And self-respect is magnetic because it cannot be faked for long. So what do you do with this? Simple. Stop trying to impress. Start trying to perceive. Stop complimenting what every man can see. Start naming what only a present man would notice. Stop talking fast. Slow down. Make eye contact. Let silence breathe. Say less, but mean more. Compliment one thing, not 10. Give the truth, not the performance. And after you say it, do not scramble for reassurance. Do not explain it. Do not hunt for a reaction. Let it land. Let her feel it. Let her decide what it means. Do this. Notice her energy. Notice her mind. Notice her emotional effect. Notice her standards. Notice her groundedness. Then choose one thing. One. Speak it plainly. No poetry contest. No manipulative smile. No salesman tone. Just truth. Stop this. Stop opening with her body every time. Stop overpraising. Stop stacking compliments like you are feeding a slot machine and waiting for attraction to drop out. Stop treating every woman you like as if she holds the final vote on your worth. She does not. Stop giving words that are inflated, premature, or borrowed from men online who are more committed to tactics than integrity. Redirect this. Put your energy back into your body, your mission, your discipline, your voice, your pace. Build a life that makes your compliments believable. Build a nervous system that stays calm in the presence of beauty. Build standards so strong that even when you admire a woman, you are still evaluating whether she fits the life you are building. That changes everything, because then you are no longer complimenting her from below. You are meeting her from level ground. And women can feel level ground. They can feel when a man wants a connection but does not need one to breathe. They can feel when a man appreciates beauty but is not hypnotized by it. They can feel when a man respects femininity without surrendering his center. That energy is rare now. Why? Because too many men have been trained to confuse niceness with weakness, attention with value, and instant chemistry with alignment. But you do not need more fantasy. You need reality. Reality says a compliment is strongest when it is an extension of your character. Reality says your words only hit when your life backs them. Reality says women are not looking for a script machine. They are looking for congruence. Emotional steadiness, honest attention, mature masculine presence. And if that stings a little, good. You need some sting. You need friction. You need the truth to scrape the excuses off your mind. Because maybe the issue was never that you did not know what to say. Maybe the issue was that you were saying things from a version of yourself that still wanted permission to matter. No more of that. You do not need to beg to be felt. You do not need to flatter to be chosen. You do not need to become theatrical to become attractive. You need to become honest, centered, disciplined, observant. You need to become the kind of man whose words are credible because he is credible. Then your compliment is no longer a trick, it is a transmission. And here is the deeper reward. When you learn to speak this way, you stop chasing reactions and start building discernment. You stop obsessing over whether she likes you and start noticing whether she is actually aligned with your values. You stop trying to create false intimacy with overblown praise, and you start allowing real intimacy to grow from clear perception and mutual respect. That is a massive shift, because now dating is not a stage where you audition for acceptance. It is a place where your character becomes visible. Her character becomes visible. Truth becomes visible. And from there, attraction has something real to stand on. So the next time you are with a woman you genuinely admire, do not reach for the oldest line in the book. Slow down, look deeper, ask yourself, what do I actually notice? What quality is real here? What effect does she have? What does my attention honestly pick up? Then speak from there. And if nothing real comes to mind, say less. Silence is stronger than fake depth. Remember that. Not every moment requires a compliment. Not every woman earns one. Not every attraction deserves expression. That restraint is part of your power. The man who can speak is strong. The man who can also hold back until his words are true is stronger. So use these 8 kinds of compliments the right way, not as lines, as reflections of a better standard. Notice her calm presence. Notice her sharp mind. Notice her comfort in her own skin. Notice her standards. Notice how easy she is to talk to. Notice the intention in how she lives. Notice the feminine energy that does not beg to be seen. Notice whether she brings peace instead of chaos. Then say it like a man who means it, calmly, briefly, cleanly. No tremble in your soul, no hidden contract underneath it, no desperation wrapped in charm, just truth. And understand this before we close. The real goal is not learning how to captivate any woman. The real goal is becoming a man whose presence, speech, and self-respect naturally create depth with the right woman. That is a completely different mission. One is manipulation. The other is self-reclamation. One is performance. The other is power. One leaves you anxious. The other leaves you free. Choose freedom. Choose standards. Choose truth. Because at the end of the day, the woman is not the answer. The perfect line is not the answer. The flawless compliment is not the answer. You are the answer. Your clarity is the answer. Your restraint is the answer. Your groundedness is the answer. Your self-respect is the answer. When that becomes real, your words stop sounding like requests and start sounding like reality. And reality is what people trust. If you want more of that truth, more clarity, more reminders that pull you out of weakness and back into your center, subscribe. Not for noise, not for fluff, for precision, for perspective, for the kind of voice that reminds you who you are when the world keeps trying to make you forget. Stay here if you are done with fantasy. Stay here if you are building substance. Stay here if you want to become a man whose words have weight because his life has weight. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are being called higher. And if that call hits something real in you, then you already belong here.